lot of films and television shows go underappreciated in the time they were made and originally premiered, but as time goes on, in several decades, they become a classic production that stands the test of time. Before we had things like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, The Wizard of Oz, The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Star Trek the original series. In more recent years, we're dealing with possible contenders like the Disney Channel Descendants trilogy, Craig of the Creek, Abbott Elementary, and Turning Red. I like the Descendants trilogy, and I would recommend it to you all because I believe Descendants will age better than many of the live-action remakes that are based on the same batch of animated Disney fairy tale films, because the Descendants trilogy doesn't try to distance itself from the source material, earlier animated Disney fairy tales on which it is based, and Descendants also has a very good message about why being good and being evil are a lot more complicated than the animated Disney fairy tale films initially made it seem, and why turning from evil to turning good is not as simple as one may think. It is why I believe the Descendants trilogy deserves to be part of the same conversation online as Megamind, The Bad Guys, and especially Wreck-It Ralph, if you've seen that Oh My Disney scene with Penelope and the Disney princesses. Ralph breaks the internet. I believe the biggest weakness of Descendants is that if you can look past the obvious comparisons to Ever After High and Monster High, the Disney Channel Descendants trilogy has the potential to be a classic, but it doesn't have as much popularity as it deserves, in my honest opinion, because it has all the wide appeal of animated Disney fairy tale films, yet none of the wide distribution efforts, because being a Disney Channel TV movie is what holds the Descendants trilogy back from possibly becoming that popular. So if you like the Descendants trilogy, and if you like other things that have been written by other things in production and features that have been written by Josanne McGibbon and Sarah Perry, and directed by Kenny Ortega, who did a good job who made the right call by turning Descendants into a musical, like many of the animated Disney fairy tale films before it, then I suggest you all please do your part in spreading the word about the Descendants trilogy to help Descendants become a popular classic that stands the test of time on par with many of the animated Disney fairy tale movies on which it is based.